Good afternoon. This is the time and place for the February 28th, 2024 Legal and Finance Committee meeting. That can't be right. We can't be 2 months into 2024. But I'll go with it. We'll start with the roll call and determination of quorum.
Beaverdorf.
Here.
Evans.
Here.
Maher.
Here.
Speaker. Here. Stroman.
Here. Next item is adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Evans, second by Sechrist to adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This is a time for general public comment now, a time for the members of the public to discuss or express concerns to the council on any issue not on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda, except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. And I see no speaker request forms, and so I'm going to close general public comment. And then we're going to go to consent items 1 through 13. And I'm going to open public comment on those. Again, I see no speaker request forms. So I'm going to close public comment on items 1 through 13. Next item is to approve the minutes of the February 14th, 2024 Legal and Finance Committee meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Evans, second by Sechrist to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the mayor's office and to confirm an appointment to the Rapid City Regional Airport Board of Directors. And Tony, are you speaking to that, or is that?
If you need me to.
I guess do we have any discussion from the mayor's office? Motion by Beaverdorf, second by Maher to approve the appointment of Caleb Arsenault to the Rapid City Regional Airport Board of Directors. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Caleb. I guess we're going to go to Lindsay Sechrist.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude to Darren Haar and his 6 years of service to the Rapid City Regional Airport Board of Directors. Definitely impactful to have citizen contribution to our volunteer citizen committee boards, and just wanted to thank him.
I think that's well taken, and I would join in that message of appreciation to Darren Haar. Next item, we'll go to the Finance Department for items 3 through 10, and I guess I'm going to ask if anybody wants to pull any of those items, and then we'll go to Mr. Ainsley. Or you can pull them after he gives his report too. So, okay, we'll go to the Finance Department. Mr. Ainsley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item number 3 is simply, again, some volunteers that are going to be acknowledged for our workers' compensation purposes. Number 4 is our 2023 sales tax report. We finished 2023 at our 2% general sales tax at 2.2% higher than 2022. That was $1.3 million of additional revenue that is beyond what we had anticipated in the 2022 or 2023 budget. In order to meet our revenue expectations for 2024, we will need general sales tax collections to be 4% higher than what they were in 2023. For the BBB fund, which is the tourism fund, total sales were 5.4% higher than what occurred in 2022. Total collections were actually $1.2 million higher than what was budgeted, and so it was a very good year for the tourism fund. To meet the anticipated revenue in year 2024, we need total collections to be 2.3% higher than what they were last year. Item number 5 is just the annual investment awards for the arts funds. It's a total of $191,000 that's going to a variety of different arts organizations. Number 6 is our January 24 Treasury and General Fund update. As of the end of January, the city had nearly $227 million, of which 73% is invested in term maturities, and right now the average return is just over 4% on those. And in the general fund, we have $4.6 million of undesignated fund balance. I do want to caution, though, that we know that there's some additional expenses that will be coming over the next 2 months that will eat away at some of that undesignated cash. Item number 7 is a surplus resolution for solid waste. They're looking to trade in a piece of equipment for some new equipment. Item number 8 is some IT department property that will be surplus and discarded. It includes laptops, desktops, and monitors. Item number 9 is an abatement of 2 different properties. One is for historical purposes at just over $2,000. The other is for educational purposes at just under $10,000. And then number 10 is also an abatement of property taxes, and that was for an assessment freeze that goes back to, I think it was 2007, when the freeze on that property was supposed to take effect. Are there any questions?
We're going to go to Kevin Maher.
Yes, Director Ainsley, I just have a question on that abatement, the historical. Can you just explain that a little bit?
Yes, 1 second. The property, it looks like it qualified with the state for a historical moratorium. I don't know the exact requirements in order to meet that. I think most of the properties are on the National Register, but I think there's some additional leeway where an individual can apply for the state, and then they get placed on a moratorium for those property taxes. On that, I can look up more information on that one particular property. But essentially what ended up happening, the state granted that, but the state did not inform the county of it. And so the county placed that on the rolls. And so they're essentially asking for relief of that property because they should not have been assessed when in fact they were.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments? I just have one question real quick, Daniel. Item 6, acknowledging the 2024 Treasury and General Fund update. And you were talking about some investments. Is that when you executed the plan to move some of the excess cash or cash reserves and allocated those to CDs and other investments, safe investments, but still getting higher interest rate?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Yes, so the city has maintained for quite some time a fairly sizable amount of cash balance. A lot of that had previously been in checking accounts and some savings accounts. The city has been more aggressive now in trying to get a higher return for those cash assets. The state statute really does limit the types of investments that can be made for that into very stable very stable investments. And so the majority of these are in CDs that are insured, as well as in a couple different treasuries and other similar instruments.
And I assume that you will continue to monitor interest rates and what the Fed is doing so that we maximize whatever we can on that. Is that?
Yes, absolutely. And that actually, in your current year budget, we are anticipating a total interest return across all the city funds of $9 million, $7 million of which would be going to the general fund to help balance the general fund. And so that is one of the large priorities that our office does continually, is trying to get as high of a return as what we can.
Thank you. If there's no other questions, I take a motion on consent items 4 through 10.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Sechrist, second by Maher to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Oh, okay.
Just for clarification.
Okay, need a motion.
3 through 10.
Okay. The second? Second, motion by Sechrist, second by Bieberdorf, amended motion, I guess, to include 3. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll go on to airport. And will you be addressing that now, or? Okay.
Is this right? Here. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Tony Broom from the airport, and what you have before you is a state grant agreement. The state, I believe it's called Senate Bill 144, had allocated some air service development funds, grant funds available to the major airports in the state. This is the second grant that the airport has applied for and received. The first one came before you previously for Orlando. This particular grant will provide service to LAX on Allegiant Airlines 2 times a week. That service will start June 14th and it goes through November 9th. The airport's contribution is we do waive landing fees and we provide some marketing support. And then the funds from the state will offset some fuel costs for Allegiant. It's for a 1-year period, although the flight goes through November, and at that time, the air carrier as well as the airport will review and see how the flight's done and see if there might be additional grant funds available for a second year.
Any questions? So historically, when they have a trial run like this, so to speak, we've been fortunate to have those actually become more permanent, correct? Instead
That
of
is
just a one-year
correct.
deal?
Yes, if they do well, they'll sometimes carry over into the shoulder season and eventually hopefully go to year-round. But most of our flights here will start out on a temporary seasonal basis. We did have LAX before, originally in 2019, and that was prior to COVID hitting, and that was operated by United. And then again in 2021, Allegiant did take a stab at it, but was not successful at that point. However, we think that this is a good route and we'll be good to go.
And do we have another one now besides Delta going to Minneapolis, direct flights?
Sun Country will resume again this summer. I don't have their exact start date, but yes, Sun Country is another good example. It's my understanding that flight did very well for them last year, so we have every anticipation of at least going into the shoulder seasons.
Great, thank you. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but did the legislature make any grants for airport this year to Rapid City Regional?
We received actually through the Department of Transportation $200,000 to go towards the terminal project, and then there's another pot of funds, our fuel tax money, that is fuel taxes that are generated at the airport. So we're receiving $210,000 of those funds, and that is going towards the terminal project. I believe there's legislation before going into the House shortly. I think the mayor has written a letter of support on that, so we're hoping to get, that wouldn't be necessarily grant funds, but hopefully some matching funds from the state for the terminal project.
For the expansion?
Yes.
We're talking, this is the big dollars?
Yeah, the
Okay.
big one.
So that has not been concluded yet? In the
No,
Okay,
no.
thank you.
This is completely separate because these grants are from the Department of Economic Development. So they're a little bit different.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Take a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion by Sechrist, second by Maher to approve number 11. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is Parks and Rec. Director Biegler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is a contract for tree and stump removal in relation to the Inflation Reduction Act grant that the city received last month, I believe. And so this company would do all of the removals and the stump grinding as well as the rehabilitation of those areas where the trees are removed. And then the replacement trees would be purchased and planted from funds from this grant by Parks and Recreation staff. And I'd stand for any questions.
Any questions from Director Biegler? Hearing none, I'll take a motion on number 12. Whoops. Okay, go to Lindsay Sechrist.
Thank you, Chair. This may be in the summary, but I was curious, what is the application process for residents interested in stump removal in the right-of-way?
Individuals interested in being part of this program can contact our office, and we will get them in touch with our urban forester, and he's got the information for that as to who is eligible and where they're located, all of that information. So they can certainly just contact our office.
Okay, thank you.
So Jeff, if the urban forester works out of your office,
Correct, yes. Well, he works out at the maintenance facility, but we can certainly get anyone in touch with him
Okay.
from our office.
and so that's out on Canyon Lake.
Correct.
And who is the urban forester again?
Jason Preble.
Yeah, I think he's a busy guy.
He's a very busy guy, yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet.
Take a motion on number 12.
Move to approve.
Motion by Secra, second by Evans to approve number 12. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is community development. We'll go to Director Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a transportation planning item requesting authorization for the mayor and finance officer to sign a professional service agreement with HDR Engineering to complete the Rapid Trip 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan in an amount not to exceed $421,185. And with your permission, Kip Harrington, our transportation coordinator, is here to give you a brief description and explain some of the funding for the study itself.
Thank you, Mr. Harrington.
Good afternoon, Kip Harrington, Long Range Planning Manager. So every 5 years, we are required to do what's called the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, formerly known as the Long Range Transportation Plan. This is a federal requirement as we are a metropolitan planning organization, and a big chunk of this requirement is so that we can keep getting federal planning funding for our MPO. Like I said, it's due every 5 years. Our last one was updated in 2020. This one is scheduled to be approved in 2025. It's a long process, takes about 15 months to complete one of these. So we want to get started this year so we can have it done by the August 2025 deadline. So this takes a look at transportation, all modes of transportation: vehicular, bicycle, pedestrian, transit, air, rail, freight, through the metropolitan planning area, which includes the city of Rapid City, the cities of Box Elder and Piedmont and Somerset, and also portions of Meade and Pennington County, including Ellsworth Air Force Base. So this is going to be done through HDR Engineering. They are a local consultant. They'll also bring in some people from all around the country to help us with this project. Like Vicki said, the cost of this is $421,000. 81.95% of that comes from our federal transportation planning funds. 18.05% is the local match on that, which comes out to about $76,000. And that is included in our transportation planning budget for 2024 and 2025. Any other questions?
Thank you, Kip. No more questions from Mr. Harrington or Ms. Fisher?
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Secra, second by Bieberdorf. All in favor? All opposed? 14 carries. 13 carries, excuse me. That brings us to the end of the consent calendar. Non-consent items, and I'll open public comment on non-consent items. I see no speaker requests, so I'm going to close public comment and go back to the Finance Department for item number 14. Inslee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the second reading of this supplemental appropriation for 2024. There were no changes compared to the first reading. I'll be available for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Ainsley? Motion to approve by Bieberdorf, second by Sechrist. All in favor? All opposed? Number 14 carries again. And so now we're going to go to Alderman items, and I'm going to go to William Evans Maestro.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to point out two things that I'm working on, and one might involve some participation here. Working with Mr. Beegler on an ADA issue that was brought up at the hot tub at the pool, the indoor swim facility, and we're working to see if maybe we need to or can install a lift into the hot tub. There's been a person, I think he came to Public Works yesterday and spoke, Mr. Rummel, quite concerned about this. I think he may have a valid concern. We're investigating that, so we may have an issue that might require somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000 to solve and bring it up to ADA compliance. I don't see that as a huge issue. We should probably get it done sooner than later and to solve any of those kind of questions that we have. And the other item I'd like to bring up is concerns this Amtrak study. There's going to be a meeting on March 9th of this regional group that is putting all this together, and they're doing a good job. And I can't give you the details because, frankly, I'm not really sure where all of the where it began and where it's going to end up. But I do know that many cities have already issued letters of resolution supporting their efforts to bring passenger rail to this part of the country. Among those cities, you can see, and I've got a list of them if you'd like me to forward it to you, Fargo, Bismarck, Mandan, Casper, Bozeman, Missoula, go across the region. It goes on into Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, cities like Yakima and Richland. I think it's important that we show any kind of support that we can muster for this effort. Now, the reality is that they're having a meeting on March 8th or 9th. The only local support we've got in terms of resolutions, I believe Mr. Harrington a while back had issued a letter of support from the MPO. Is that correct? I would like to authorize our legal department to draft something, and I've got tons of examples for them to do that we could perhaps vote on already on Monday at the council meeting so that they can put this in their portfolio to present to this committee. I think a minimal effort, they can just cut and paste different things from these other cities, and we can be ready to go. And then on this meeting at March, is it 8th or there? One of the two, but it would be too late for us to do it a week, 2 weeks later at the council meeting. So if I could get somebody to just make a motion to authorize the drafting of such a support letter, we could even vote on it on Monday night since it's nothing controversial.
Move to include a resolution of support for Amtrak
Study group.
presentation.
By the way, he's coming, the leader of that group in South Dakota is coming to present a short thing on Monday to the city council. So you'll have more of an idea, and it kind of will follow along with that, so.
Second. We have a motion by Sequist and a second by Bieberdorf. Any other discussion? Real quick before we vote, I just want to make sure that the city attorney, it's okay that we proceed in this manner and ask that you prepare this so that we can have a resolution ready to roll on Monday.
Yeah, I think we could have a resolution. I assume that Alderman Evans will be available to provide input so we can get it in the form that he desires.
Great. Thank you, sir. Okay, if no other discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And so now it's time to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Evans. Second by Maher to adjourn. All in favor? Motion carries. We're adjourned.